What's good, Relocation Football League fans? The RFL podcast is back this week, and unfortunately, we had to cancel last week's. I mean, we were ready to go and everything, but due to the PlayStation Network issues and the delays that we had, we just had to go ahead and move it back. But the Bellcast is back. Get ready to hear a few of these. As I'd say, as you can see from the title of this episode, this was upset week, man. A lot of teams we didn't expect to lose went down this week. And a lot of teams that, we expected not to perform all too great this season have been doing pretty good. We'll dive into all that. I don't understand why we have this graphic up. That's the wrong thumbnail. There we go. That's the correct one right there. But yeah, excited to have you guys here. And apologies also for telling you guys, for not posting anything out there. I was working on some graphics in terms of final scores from last week's game. You will see. But I got Rob here with me. No Bill with me with us this week. What you about to say, Rob?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You kind of cut out a little bit there.
But yeah. I was gonna say I can't see your screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me get that handled.
All right. Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah, share screen.
Can you hear me now? Is it better now? Can you hear me?
It's a little bit like scratchy.
Let me just make sure. Okay.
I don't know if the plug's not all the way in or something. That's what it kind of sounds like.
Oh, you know what? I've forgotten, man. Okay. All right. I've got to hold on 1 second.
All right. I'm working on these.
Can you still hear me now?
Yep, we get you.
Is it still scratchy?
Not as much, to be honest. Let me see. Streams quality.
But it's still there?
Yeah, it kind of went out on my end a little bit, but it's still there. And my computer's skitzing a little bit. But yeah, man, I got my whole thing fixed up, or at least thought I did, and still having the same issues. Guys, I think it's just a bad graphics card I got, so probably gotta get that thing traded in. Somehow, some way, man. But yeah, we're about to go ahead and dive into these games. And first, what I'm bringing back is the score recap graphics. As you can see here, this is what took me a little minute today. I had to do a lot of teams training just to get ready for this week. Week 6 is here. The season is moving along. And, I'm just excited just already of everything that's happening. Very unpredictable season. But again, it's the first season that we've had full games, right? Full season games, no bye weeks unless you actually have a bye week. It's just been real crazy, just crazy in general in the RFL. And I just can't even wait to see who the final teams are even going to be. At the end of this, when we're talking playoffs, a lot of teams thinking they're out. I still think that there's still some chance. Some teams that may not be performing may have still some chances just based off how their division is looking. But again, we'll dive into all of that. But let's go ahead and recap these scores. The first game of the week was the Condors versus the Red Dragons. Now, I had the Condors winning this based off the spreads, Rob. And the way it turned out, of course, you got to call this game. And the Red Dragons just came in there and they just did their job, man. Their offense played horrible the weeks before, and then they just clicked. Sometimes that's what it takes for teams. They held the Condors to just 6 points and beat them 24-6 in that game. We saw a pretty good performance from Anthony Savoy. It looks like he's back to his season 1 championship winning ways, running in for a touchdown. He had 2 touchdown passes, 290. And DJ Scott even got going. The average may not be all that great, but really he did get going towards the end. But these receivers, especially Obey Kid, coming into fruition. We saw a good performance from the defense, even though they're aging. And Anthony Savoy, as I talked about, kind of looking good. What's your thoughts on this game and how they were able to walk away with such a big victory of 18 points?
Well, with this game, it was clear that the defense for the Red Dragons was just put together. I kept mentioning Bobby Boucher, man. It's all over the place. And it was, it was a very, very good game. However, when we're looking at the offense here, I mean, this is like, the 1, 2, 3 here with McCoy, obviously not McCoy, but Savoy playing very well. I mentioned that he had been back to his old. Seemed like he was back to his old days when he's taking off, on a whim. Especially those deep routes when everything's covered downfield, he can be very dangerous. DJ Scott again, slow churning for the whole game, but progressive and really, really, really just set the tone down the line for the Red Dragons. So it was really a great game. I remember seeing Obey Kid. Obey Kid, man, several years ago. He had freakish speed, but he just was like buried in this depth chart. Fourth or fifth on the roster. I don't know. I get excited, when seeing some of these guys who we've seen come rise up. A lot of people don't know who Obey Kid is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that guy was sitting on that roster deep, buried like an Easter egg, man, waiting to hatch. And at one point, I want to say he was the fastest man in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, he was up there. We did have some 99s
Yeah,
still, but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
definitely was
He
one of
was,
the
he was,
faster guys.
yeah. So it was just really crazy, man. Seeing that him go off there, obviously those 8 receptions, man, the way he did that. But this was a very good game. I do have to tip the hat of the defense
Okay, got a little bit of a cutout here from.
for the Red Dragons, though. They played very, very well.
Okay, nice, yeah. And I'm very shocked at how the Condors played. Just my last little sentiments, and we'll move on. Condors, I mean, look at these numbers. Chase McCoy, 15 to 25, 127 yards passing through the entire game. So this just is statistics to show you guys how good the Red Dragons defense played. And I also feel like I'm not going to take anything from the Red Dragons. Their defense still did play great, but the offense just played poorly too. I mean, just bad play call decisions, bad execution. All around, the offense was just horrible for the Condors. And this is not the first time we've seen it. They've had a couple games where they only scored 13 points. So, like, with that being said, hopefully they get this offense some consistency going, and it really cost them in this game this week. Moving on to Tuesday's games in the doubleheader. I think these are ones that got postponed on till Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, or Friday, and then we had to do the game like later in the weekend. So the first game that came about, the DC Marshals, they were looking for their first win of the season. They were 0-4 coming this on the road, playing the Boston Shamrocks. The Shamrocks have been kind of impressing this season, doing better than expected, shall I say. And then Tom Wilson in the offense, they just put on a show. Tom Wilson was getting it done as that ultimate dual threat within the league. He's the fastest quarterback in the RFL. Had himself a nice rushing touchdown through one end, as you can see here. Saeed Gore ran fairly well. Had a touchdown. Roland Woods was almost uncoverable. I mean, there's nothing they could do. But I will say this. DC, they looked much better than what we saw before. The offense had a little bit more consistency. There were some changes made. Darius Hodge, who was usually the starter there in that slot, or shall I say, really on the outside, because what was happening, just to fill more people in and get you the idea going into this matchup here, Rob, the receivers on the outside, typically when they were in a 3-receiver set, they would bring in Hodge and have him play outside and then bring in Devin Flores and move him to the slot, right? Because he seemed to be more fit for the slot. That just wasn't working. Darius Hodge struggled getting open. And so the change going into this week was, hey, let's get the rookie Kyshawn Williams, the guy who has the speed, who, yeah, his route running may not be there, but when you got a guy this fast, this fast who's able to most likely just get open off of that alone, why not utilize that player in the slot? And let's put Devin Flores to the outside because, I mean, technically he is your wide receiver. So he may be on the smaller end, but he can make plays. They put him out there. And I just saw a better showing. We saw Kyshawn Williams, that speed definitely took over as expected. He was making some big plays. He got to score his first RFL career touchdown. But unfortunately, they came up short. A lot of people was very disappointed with how that game ended because they had a shot to kick the field goal and tie this game and go into overtime 24-all. But instead, they kind of went out there trying to run another play. Tackle was made. The player did not get out of bounds when he could have, and I believe that was Lester Gadsden. And he got tackled in bounds. Time expired. And they lost, but they still could have probably kicked that kick. Final score 24-21. What's your thoughts on this game and the struggles of the Marshals so far?
Well, unfortunately, I was not able to watch this game, so I'm only here, with the stats here. But I just gotta talk in general about the things that we've seen this season so far. we took the abilities and stuff off,
Mm-hmm.
and something that hasn't been talked about in a few weeks is the fact that like everything is ratings based, man. All the matchups are critical in these games, and I'm starting to notice that players that may have had 80, 90 yards with the abilities and stuff on and all that stuff are no longer having that. Whether that's an offensive lineman or defensive lineman that's helping out or whatever it is, right? Uh, uh, like Ward, for example, right? Or let's just go to Gore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gore, 12 rushes, 49 yards, had abilities had been on and he had a lineman.
Little pause going on here, guys. Bear with us. Again, sorry for
Probably,
this. Oh my goodness, this PC.
but he's up against, line.
Could you
Can you
try
hear me?
to
Is it breaking up?
yeah, let's break it up. Apologies again.
Yeah, sorry.
So
Okay.
you were last talking
What did
about
y'all
Gore.
hear?
You
Yeah,
talking
I
about
was
Gore
just
for he had
saying that
abilities.
where abilities used to help players on both sides of the ball, they no longer are. So now we're just seeing matchups, man. And so, like you said, Kai Shan, who's not on this graphic card here, but now you can kind of scheme certain guys in and get work out of guys. And they won't just necessarily just be shut down by the powers that be or whatever,
Yeah.
and all this other stuff and everything. So to speak to what the Marshals are going through. I totally understand it, man. I understand what 0-5 feels like. And we just have to understand that, the teams are no longer boosted in a way. And we don't want to expect so much out of the teams anymore. And we just have to just got to kind of pray, man. Just pray that it falls in your favor. And I'm going to speak more on that as we start to talk about some of these games here.
Yeah. Big win though there for the Shamrocks. They improved to 3-2 on the season. Marshals, as Rob mentioned, falling to 0-5 after the tough close loss there. The second game that was supposed to be on Tuesday that was postponed due to the PSN issue is the Gunners and the Monarchs. We just talked about a team that's still looking for the first win. A team that was looking for the first win was the Baltimore Gunners, and they found it on this game on the road in New England. And Jabri Jackson, this is all I could say. Throughout this season, despite the 4 losses, this guy, the 2-time MVP, the only player, he has the most MVPs. This guy has been balling. I mean, he came in this matchup, 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, frequently just making plays. 3 touchdown passes, you can see here, 325 passing yards. He was just getting it done. DeAndre Cans has been tops amongst the league. I believe he's still second in receiving yards. I will say this beforehand, guys. I'm not going over statistics like I did last week or the last podcast. That's dead. I promise you, I will not do that again. That took forever. So, but anyway, yeah, he should definitely be up there. And we saw a pretty good matchup for a while, but then they just started to go away with it. In your opinion, what's your thoughts, of course, on this game? And then, in your opinion, the Gunners, how does a win and a break in that, and then seeing what Jabri Jackson is doing currently, how does that possibly give the Gunners hope within this game, especially with how the division's been going? You got the Explorers at 1-4 like they are. You got the Barons at 1-4 like they are. And the current team that is leading that division at 3-2 are the Lumberjacks. So what's your thoughts on all that?
It's difficult to call it, man. You don't want to take, I guess, like the RFL fan of me that's been around for 7 seasons or so. I never want to actually root against Jabri Jackson. I hear some of the younger guys, newer guys, they want to elevate the next quarterback up, and they want to get rid of Jabri Jackson. But I still view Jabri Jackson as a veteran in this league that's still going to consistently take you keep you in games and possibly take you out of games if you're the other team. So it's nothing new for me with this. Now the record 1-4, that's, while it's a shock, it's nothing new as well. We know that the Gunners are aging. Am I shocked that they beat the Miners? Absolutely not. But am I shocked that they're 1-4 right now? Nah, not really. Again, we've discussed, and I'm not going to give any more airtime to the former, who what, man. But we've discussed about how this team was chopped up to be successful in its first year. And now, the team, you can kind of see the devastating effects because the team hasn't done this and hasn't done that. So you can see what the effects of what this team, is right now. Uh, there's a lot of rearranging of tables, man. So you kind of have to, deal with it. I'm really shocked. I am shocked at some of the teams that are, up there. I'm shocked at some of the teams that are, not up there. Uh, More so though, I'm still waiting, man, because I think that this season is still developing, and I've heard some buzz, man, about that. It's hot right now, but maybe it's not going to be hot in mid-season, and when you start to get to the end of the season, will some things change, man? So, again, you have to give credit where it's due. So Jabri Jackson gets the win, and Monarchs take the L.
A big win, 1-4 for them. Monarchs falling under 500 at 2-3. So those were 3 of the 4 live games. Of course, the last live game, which was the game of the week, will be the last game we cover. And these were the graphics I was working on for the premieres, guys. So I'll be posting these up. This is more of a wider view graphic. And you can see the graphic, this final score there. I kind of stole this idea from Madden and then just altered it a bit to have our diamond-like logo at the bottom, faded out the team that lost, put the score in the middle. And then I'm trying to use more shots from the game that are full screen, like that, has multiple players involved, or the matching of the theme. Technically, the guy who balled isn't necessarily going to be featured, but of course these will be shown on the graphics. But first premiere game, 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, the Aviators were able to remain undefeated. 14-6 was the final score as they were able to take down the Crusaders. What's your thoughts on the Aviators, man? I mean, obviously, we were thinking about Marquise Washington and the impact that he would have on the Desperados, and then I don't think there was a single person in their mind who was thinking about Kyle Bain and what he's been able to accomplish. This guy still has yet to even throw an interception. He's got 11 touchdowns passing, and his team is sitting at 5-0, and just took down a pretty solid Crusaders team. It's just kind of been up and down, but 5-0, and they go into a bye week. I mean, these guys are going to be undefeated till week 7. What's your thoughts on the Aviators, man?
This is comedy, man. I'm sorry to say it. Big salute to the Aviators, man. I know they got some,
A little cutout here.
there, but I think they thought that Kyle Bain was going to come in here and have them 5-0, on the season so far. So if they say that, then I'm calling cap to every one of them, including you, Slim. There's no way you guys thought that Bain was going to be the savior, but he is, and he's here, and they're getting it done here. And one thing about this league that I'm absolutely loving this season here, is the fact that the defense is actually a thing now. I don't think defense has been this good ever in for some teams, yeah, but not for everybody. Like, defense for everybody this year has been pretty good. And so the way you win games is by stopping teams from scoring, right? Honestly, there's some teams are winning with minimal scoring. They're getting it done. So, I'm not afraid of the Aviators, though, man. I think that the playbooks are still warming up. I think the storylines are still warming up. I think there's going to be some twists and turns here. Do I see Kyle Bain having a deep playoff run for a reload bowl? Absolutely not. But that's just my opinion, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, impressive what they've done so far. Definitely agree with you. We'll definitely get more, I guess, into that as like questions after the recaps. So like to kind of get into exactly what you talked about, just a lot of shocking starts, as I can say, as you've mentioned. Yeah. But the Aviators, I mean, that's a great head start to start out with. 5-0, anybody will take that all day. But again, we still got 12 more games to play. Anything can happen within that time. We'll see if they can maintain that. As for the Crusaders, I don't have the records up here, but they fall to 2-3 on the season. It's been competitive there in the NRCE West, I'll tell you that. All right, the second game. Talking about 5-0, we saw 2 teams remain undefeated within the same time at 4 p.m. Eastern. In Atlanta, the Thunderbirds hosted the 4-0 Hogs at the time. Ronnie Shanahan, this guy's he's humble. He He always likes to give credit everywhere else, talks about, oh man, I don't really impact the game. I don't affect the game that much. But if you watch this game, if you watch all the games this season that he's had, yeah, he's not going to wow you statistically, but it's the throws and the plays that he makes that makes them win the game is where his impact lies. And he's just a rookie. You know, it makes you wonder what kind of impact is this guy going to have. Nobody expected him to come in here and do what he's done so far. Of course, you still got a long season left to play, and you did it against the the Thunderbirds. Just watching this game, I mean, this game went overtime. This was definitely up there for game of the week until a couple of games aired that were just crazy too. But went into overtime. They came out real strong, had the Thunderbirds 10-0, right? And the way the defense was playing, multiple sacks. I believe they had 9 sacks on LC3. So 9 sacks on LC3. We're bottling them up. One thing we know for a fact about the Hogs is this defense is legit. And that type of defense is going to keep you in games, right? And that's actually kind of like a kryptonite for the Thunderbirds because, yeah, they got a good defense, but their offense has always, since they've lost those receivers way back some years ago, have been in a mid-struggle point. And so when you're able to stop that offense, that's where they have troubles. When you have a really good defense, and it even showed to that capacity in the Reload Bowl. You know, they made it to the Reload Bowl. They had exceptional defense all the way there that really took them. Offense was able to grind. But when you got to face a dog on the defensive side of the ball, that's when you got to perform. And LC3 recently has had his fair share of struggles against those kinds of teams. He did manage to get back into this game. He ran one in for a touchdown, did get picked off. But I will say this too. That was a great showing from Mighty Mouse, man. I did not expect him to have a great showing on the ground like he did against the Hogs defense, but dude just took off. And at the end of the day, it still wasn't enough because the game came down to these crucial plays. Three things I'll mention. These were the biggest plays of the game, all coming from the Hogs. One was the not only with the interception, but the run game with Shivers. Shivers has been a dog. Over 100 yards rushing against the Thunderbirds. That's impressive. Has their run defense looked anything like they did in the past? Absolutely not. This has been one of their worst years statistically on the defensive side of the ball, stopping the run. 2, and these other 2 plays is just pretty much off of Shanahan. This guy threw a deep ball down the field. You got Eric Straughter covering Sylvester Leach, and this is why you got to always pay homage, give respect to the vets. Sylvester Leach stops in the middle of the route, leaps up, catches the ball for a huge first down. Now, was that the drive that helped them score? No. Some people could say, how was that impactful if they didn't get any points? But I'll tell you how it was impactful. It was because it shifted the field. So when you shift the field and you win the field position battle off of that, that really helps set up your team if you get a stop to get the ball to be able to score again. And what that set up was Ronnie Shanahan on the move run, throws in between 2 defenders of the Thunderbirds. You couldn't have placed the ball any better than that. Caught on the sidelines by Godfrey. And that's really what set them up to win the game. And he also had a crucial scramble that won them the game to put them in field goal range to win. And his final score was 20-17 in overtime, man. What is your thoughts on Ronnie Shanahan? That crazy game. And he's 5-0. The only 2 undefeated teams now up to this point. And what he's been able to do with this team.
Yeah, man. I'm just chuckling. Good breakdown of this game. And as I look at the chat, man, who is Lonely Face Timeless, man? Who is this guy?
He's just I think he's just a member within the community. Yeah, but he looks like he keeps up with the league, man.
Yeah, man. Look, man. I'm just contextualizing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people really get it. This is the first time that the Riverhawks have ever played the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
They have a rookie quarterback, right? The Thunderbirds, greatness. They've beat the Thunderbirds by 3 in the first time meeting with a rookie quarterback. And someone has a nerve to call them frauds. They're 5-0 with a top, we were just talking about this on the Dunn show, top 10 defense, or top 5, whatever it is, defense. They've got the top 3, whatever, top 5 running game going on here. Shanahan, as I was saying, does not have to do much, but he's making plays. And if you've watched the games, it's believable. So I don't know how we can call them frauds. That's all I'm going to say.
Kind of cut up a little bit here.
But shocked he actually beat the Thunderbirds. I'm shocked that they actually beat the Thunderbirds, but I'm also shocked that they're 5-0. But I respect it, right? I respect it because if you've watched every game, they have not won off of fluke stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as much as I hated losing both of the games to them, look, man, he did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he did that. He did that, bro. You know, so like we can't call them frauds, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who that is in the chat, man. You might be new here, but I'm just saying.
Shout out to Lonely Face Timeless though. But
yeah, shout out to you, man.
Yeah, and really he's just in a great situation with the team he's on, right? He does not have to make plays for them to win the game. Like of course he does. That's why they're winning. But he doesn't have to make many plays for them to win the game just because of how good their defense is and the weapons he has around them. That is optimal opportunity for development. And so that's what's making this team dangerous, especially the fact that he's a dual threat. When everything breaks down and you can't make that throw, you know you got a defense to support you. Just make a play with your legs. And that is everything that Ronnie Shanahan was in college.
So I just feel like if you've got like a top 10 running game, a top 10 defense in the league, then you really don't have to really worry too much how your quarterback is playing.
Yeah, not
you
too
know what
much.
I mean? Like I feel like you're getting it done. So for whatever Ronnie doesn't do, then Shivers or whoever else is making up for it. Or maybe I think Dunn rightfully said it was combined rushing yards. So it's not just one player in the rushing game. So they're obviously, making conversions, right? In a unique way, which is carrying them, but also the defense, man. I mean, they're stopping teams, bro. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think it's like just a kind of a perfect recipe, perfect chemistry for right now. And so, again, hats off to Ronnie and the Hogs.
Yeah, and as for the Thunderbirds, shocking. Of course, sitting under 500, 2-3. I don't know if they've ever been that low. Might have been in season 6 that one year they missed the playoffs, but tough for them. Still a lot of season to go to try to flip things around. Moving on to the next game, man. Tough one. Gotta play the bell. There's a lot of talk going on a little bit here, and this is why with this season, man, you can't say you get guaranteed to beat anybody. You just can't say it. This is probably the scariest season to try to say, oh, we beating such and such. Oh, that's the Pioneers? Oh, we gonna get them. Pioneers are on a 2-game winning streak out of nowhere. On a 2-game winning streak out of nowhere. And if you watch this game and just looking at that photo alone, I know it's giving Frankie nightmares. This was probably the game-defining play of the play that defined the game that helped them win. Because just as the Dreadnots were cutting it close and seeming to come back, had the momentum starting to shift in their favor, they kick it off and we get the first kick return touchdown of the season by the Pioneers, by Matthew Horn, the former USC Trojan. And he broke like 3 tackles, but it was crazy how it looked because he got hit from angles that helped keep him up. And then he had the afterburners to cook everyone after all those hits. And he cribbed it. Yeah. And, man, it was a bad showing for the Dreadnots offense for the most part. One thing I don't think that the Pioneers get too much credit on is their defense actually has been playing pretty good. It's not really bad. They got some good corners out there. They got a heck of an edge rusher and Jesse Newhouser, who's been around since forever. And what shocked me the most out of this game was Javier Santana. Not going to lie. Mr. Saucy himself. But, man, he got saucy on them Dreadnots, though. I'm going to tell you that. Because bro was out there scrambling. He looked more like Ronnie Shanahan than Shanahan looked like him. He was running more than he was. We have never seen Javier in the pockets, scrambling out the pocket at all like this when he was at Washington. But out of nowhere, bro just decides to use the legs, and it was absolutely killing the Dreadnots, especially on third downs. And they end up walking out of this victorious 29-17. They're 2-3 on the season, and the Dreadnots are now sitting at 3-2. Thoughts on the game? Anything else from this game, players, whatever you want to go ahead and discuss?
I just don't understand it, man. Wait a second. Diggs, so Santana, he's the starting quarterback?
Yes.
Okay. Who went out? Someone got injured in the first quarter.
First quarter?
Number nine.
That was Javier. He's a quarterback.
Oh, so Javier went out, right?
I don't remember him going out in this game. He did go out in a game this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went out, and then Diggs walked in and threw a touchdown before he did. But yeah, after that though, I mean, the big thing about the battle between those two was, is Javier really around active to develop his guy? And obviously we see, yes, he is. And so Diggs is in a rough situation, thinking he had an opportunity there, which he did, but didn't print out.
I got confused, man, because Diggs never made it into the game. But like I think I was doing laundry and I was watching, and then like I saw Javi go out, right? And then Javi must have come back in. I didn't realize it. I thought it was Diggs.
They said, yo, he did. Okay, yeah, Diggs did come in then. They're saying he did.
It must have been.
Yeah, it was brief because I don't even remember that.
Oh, briefly.
Yeah, he came in briefly.
Okay. Yeah. Because the whole game I'm sitting here like, wow, this kid Diggs is crazy. Then I see, like, I don't know when it was, third quarter. Yeah. And I said, wait a second. That's Javi in the game right now, man. And I was like, oh wow. So yeah, I got confused for a second here. But yeah, anyway, my take, man. Dreadnots, man, this is a tough loss for them. And I know that they do not want to lose they did not want to lose this game, obviously, here. It does go back to that on any given Sunday type of a thing. You can never guarantee a win. The kick return, obviously, man, squeezed the life out of guys right there.
Yeah.
That was just madness, man. Sometimes it's just those big plays that happen. But something that is kind of bothering me a bit here, with the Dreadnots is one, I would say the running game. It's kind of I don't know, man. I feel like it should be better than it is for some reason, and I would have thought that it would be more. I don't remember how many yards
that was a killer for them in this game. They actually didn't run enough at all.
Yeah,
and Perk just came back, so that kind of hurt him big time.
Yeah. So I was kind of worried about that. Something else too. I'm going to pick on him a little bit here too, man. CC. I'm starting to become Smitty. I'm kind of becoming like enlightened in this league. Out of nowhere, 0-5 will make you start to become enlightened about things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing things from a different perspective. But CC, whatever you're doing to your player, stop making him a bully. Make him go and get the football, because I keep seeing you like guys are catching your zone and you're immediately throwing stiff arms and shoulders before you even attack the football, man. And I think that I saw a lot of balls thrown CC's way that I said, man, he should take off with this, man. Like, pick this. So I don't know, man. That's just an observation. I saw this last week too, where I see you like charging at guys with the shoulder real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what he's doing. If he's just putting everything in the weight room or whatever he's doing, man. But he's making this guy this muscle-bound beast, man. We need him to get those INTs, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, not let guys catch and then, hit a post, yeah, man. That didn't look good. But I don't want to wrap up on the Dreadnoughts just yet, man. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, big win right there for the momentum of the Pioneers. Moving on to the next game. This is a huge win for the Elks. I mean, again, as I talked about, the NRC West, the only division that stayed intact after the realignment coming into this season. And the competition there has been incredible. I'm just looking at my own source here, just at the standings within that division. The Snowhawks still lead the West they're 3-2, but the Condors are right behind them at 3-2. The Elks are 2-3, and the Crusaders are 2-3. So I mean, these guys again having an absolute war for who's going to win this division. And the Elks managed to get it done at home in Salt Lake City over the Snowhawks. So I mean, that right there is a huge game. And then I have to check. I believe they already played already, if I'm not mistaken. So going into this, let me see. Yeah, they played already 2 weeks ago, and it was in favor of the Snowhawks. They beat them 29-15, and the Elks, they get it done at their home field with this score here, 28-21. Not really too much to talk about here. I mean, just impressive win. Eric Fisher's not playing all too bad for the Elks. But yeah, 3-2 are the Snowhawks, still in lead of the West. Anything you got to say about this game?
No, I thought that Gidley was going to pull this. Gidley was going to pull this out. Like again, this was a very
Since
close
we're on
game.
here, I do want to
back
say that you
yeah.
were saying it right. So it's Giddily. Giddily. Like,
Even though he has a, just
yeah,
someone
the
spelled
G
this
is
wrong.
silent.
It's
Gid-
Giddily.
Yeah, it's spelled like
not Giddily.
it's spelled like Giddily, but it's Giddily.
Giddily.
Giddily. Giddily. Like that.
We've been messing that up since season 4.
I had to learn how to say it. That's why I know how to say it.
Giddily,
Giddily.
I thought he was gonna have this game though, man. You know, they were going back and forth for the most part. Elks, you know, they edged this out, but if you looked at that game, it looked like Giddily was in control of this game. I don't remember if this was 21-14 at some point.
I believe it was, but the thing is, that I saw was the biggest issue was Giddily. I mean, the dude looked very uncharacteristic, but he has those moments, especially lately, the last few seasons. But he was just taking sacks, wasn't throwing the ball away, making poor decisions. That really is what hurt them in a sense in this game.
Didn't Curry ended up having a big day? No, 8 receptions.
Yeah, he did okay. I know Pecan came in and scored their first touchdown. So, I mean, that was another thing. They were without Ryan LeCavalier, which is their starting slot guy. Pecan still filled in pretty nicely. But they just ended up coming out short at the end of the day. And Eric Fisher really just exploded. And I don't know if it's 3 or 4 touchdown passes he had in this game, but he was really the determinant factor as to why they won.
I felt like I watched this down to the last few minutes of this game, and it was just like disastrous for the Snowhawks at the end. But I can't remember everything about this game. I did take notes, but they're across the room right now, so I don't feel like going over there and getting it. But
good.
I think I did want to shout out Spriggs, man. The youngster, man. Been seeing him play pretty good football, man, for them. So excited to see what his career is going to be like.
And Pecan pointing out it was 4 and Kincaid killed, man. Roy Kincaid still a beast since Tennessee, balling Salt Lake. Moving on to the next game, man. Got to play the bell for this funeral. Barons got absolutely destroyed at home by the Tigers. Kai Cash wasn't playing around, deserved to be on this poster with the flex as he threw for over 370 yards and was able to just do whatever he wanted against that defense, man. 4 touchdown passes, I believe it was, 38-9, all field goals. Wow. But I also got to play the bell for Ryan Brinker, man. Another week that this guy leaves touchdowns off the board. He underthrew 4 wide open touchdown passes, 2 of them to Amari Manuel, and 2 of them that could have went to Q-Pop. And man, they couldn't score no touchdowns, man. They just could not score no touchdowns. Tigers just played lights out football. The Tigers looking pretty good, man. I mean, they are built to do some damage, you know, and they're still developing. They got some younger guys and everything. Kai Cash, we know he's going to be that franchise guy who's going to lead this team to some greatness, you know, moving forward and everything. And it showed here. You know, this team did absolute work on the Barons. Nothing really too much else to say, but that and those key points to put out. They just were unstoppable. Barons defense looked terrible. Offense just as bad. Thoughts on this?
No, I didn't see this game, Smitty. So I don't really have any. I just know the free Q movement started popping up, man, and it's nuts. 38-9 is crazy.
Yeah, so tough loss for the Barons there. The Tigers, go back looking at standings. I believe they are 2-3, might be 3-2 actually.
Yeah, this is
They're
a bit of a rough week for me,
yeah, they're
man.
2-3. No, all good, all good.
The job, so I didn't catch it. Catch it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, 2-3. The Barons 1-4. So yeah, it just went bad for them. The Voyagers and the Armadillos. The Armadillos are hot right
Coincidence.
now. Coach Roland Woods doing his thing with the
Yeah,
Dillos and, trying to right his wrongs from New York, now over here in Austin. And honestly, this game looked like it was a blowout. I mean, it ended up being one, but it was 7-14 all the way till in the fourth, and then it just got away.
yeah,
There was one
yeah,
beautiful deep touchdown pass. It was the only touchdown that the Voyagers had from Monte Wyatt. I still feel like he showed flashes as to why he's the guy. The defense just really got to Monte, as you can see in the
yeah.
picture. That was one of the sacks, and he handled it as best as he could, but it was just too much for him. The Armadillos, man, thoughts on them sitting at 4-1, and the struggles continuing for the Voyagers, but it looks like it's still a bit of a bright side despite this final score looking like it did. They were still very much in this game, and I still think it was the best we could get from Monte Wyatt given the situation.
Yeah, Rollins made me put my foot in my mouth. The beginning of the season, I was like, "Oh, it's Rollins, terrible," whatever I said. So he didn't like that. So now he's 4-1. So glad I could empower him to turn it around. But no, man, look, he's inherited a great team, and he's doing some things, man. I personally feel that he has he's learned some things, and he's tweaking this team in a way that's comfortable for him. He's not doing extreme things, and I'm very happy and proud for him, man. That's what you have to say there. Um, you know, to beat the Voyagers in this fashion, not to say the Voyagers are the powerhouse team they were. They've got some things going on there, man, that I'm a little concerned about for them. But he beat a great coach, and he gets that right. But in this game, you could see this was a close game up until the end of the game, the fourth quarter or so. But you could see what happens when rookies kind of lose that momentum, and you get down there in the when the game gets late, and then you start seeing the studs pop out on defense and stuff, man. And Monty, man, he just could not battle through that at the end there, and that was just the spark that the defense was able to stop Monty, and put power on him and everything. Excuse me, put power on him. I mean, pressure on him. It just, man, it was just suffocating, right? So the score does not represent what the game actually was,
Mm-hmm.
but what's true is that when it was late in the game and you got to maintain a lead and you got to score, Monty White was not able to do that, and so I can only chalk that up to the inexperience of him, but he's gonna get better with time.
Yeah, and I don't, I can't play Bell because you're winning, Roland, but don't ever say that Chumlee is not better than Ryan Breaker ever again. That's all.
Oh, uh, my
Chumlee has been
apologies
eating,
to
still leading the league in passing.
yeah,
Mhm.
my apologies, guys. I've been gone a while. I forgot that Monty was already in the in the league. It's just when you see them for the first time, you're like, oh, it's a rookie. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
apologize. I apologize for that, guys. But yeah, Monty will be okay. But look, that's just how the game is, right? I mean, I would love for every rookie to come in and be 5-0 like Shanahan or how Savoy did some years ago, whatever. But that's not going to happen to every single quarterback, right? So we know what Monty was at Ohio State, and we know what he's going to be able to be here for Houston. But it won't hit Jack, not this week. He's not going down against Roland, man. So there it is.
Yeah, Roland doing a good job. As mentioned, 4-1 on the season. Voyagers struggling. I think they're 2-3. So not all too bad. I gotta pull up these standings
Oh,
here.
Dunn just reminded me too, Smitty, the trade.
The trade.
Yeah, with Ulbrich and he got the line now,
Oh
the
yeah, we'll
lineman
we'll
now.
go into that after we finish
Okay.
the recaps and
Yeah.
everything. I
Okay.
kind of wanted to dive into some new moves and stuff like that. So free agency. I don't got graphics for these guys, but I will be looking to try to put those some of those things out. But yeah, just checking in to see where the Voyagers are. Yeah, the Voyagers are 2-3 on the season. Here is arguably the game of the week: the Black Knights versus the Bulls. The Bulls were undefeated going into London. And bro, when I tell you this game started out like the Black Knights were done for, Devin Wade was cooking, everything was working. Gino was managing to keep him in the game, but it was just like it got to a point where it's just like, man, Devin Wade just not letting up. It's over. The defense managed to slow them down just enough at times to settle for a few crucial field goals to help them win this game. But Gino Gannon went stupid. Threw 5 touchdown passes and was just in comeback mode. I mean, this guy again looking like that conference MVP that he was his rookie year, and he is taking a Black Knights team places that we didn't expect, and now he was able to take down an undefeated Bulls team that has got a great defense. Honestly, people can say whatever they want about Wade, but Wade has 12 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and hey man, been waiting to say that, man. You got to give people time, and look what happened. And same deal even goes for Gino, man. And now these guys eating still a great game from the Bulls. I'm not going to take that away from the Bulls, right? They kind of had this game. They should have won the game, but this is their first loss. 4-0, first loss. They can easily still bounce back here. But the Black Knights, man, how about these guys, man, right now? Any thoughts that you have on this comeback of the Black Knights? Nobody thought the Black Knights was going to be this good, even with Gino Gannon, but he is making that much of a difference. I remember us being, well, not us. I remember you being excited. It was like, hey, man, we got the Black Knights first round pick. We good. They gonna be. And this dude came out, oh, yo, all right, and he's doing this now. I mean, it's crazy.
This is a sad season for me, man. And so anytime Gino Gannon is mentioned,
the eyes go low, man. Eyebrows raised.
Yeah. I'm sad, man. You know, I'm sad, bro. I don't know what to say, man. Whatever, man.
Oh man,
this guy is going crazy, man. You know, and I've always known he can go crazy. You know, I mean, we were there with the year one, you know, rookie year, and it got weird, man. You know, and I know I can't say it on the. I'm not gonna say it on the live stream, man, because we gotta chill. But hey, man, he won't playing right, man. There's a reason, you know what I'm saying. But that's all I'm gonna say, man. But no, man, it's just sad, bro. You know, the guy is playing some really good football. I wish he was a Cougar, man. I'm very, you know, I wish that none of that stuff would have went down and we could have tried something else. But you know, it is what it is. He's playing excellent football, and yeah, I thought he was going to be cooked, you know, with the line, but apparently that line doesn't even matter. You know, apparently Gino Gannon is what y'all say is him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Himothy.
So, Himothy, yeah. And then at the same time, you know, Wade, man, I'm really shocked by how Wade is playing. I'm just shocked by a lot of things, bro. I don't know. I'm a little jealous of 38 points too, man. Guys dropping 39 points. I'm barely getting 9. You know? What's going on here, man? I can't get 9 points. These guys get 68, 70 points all together, man. They got all the points, man. Maybe all the points are just going to everybody else but us, man. We can't buy a touchdown whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So this is crazy. This is madness. Great game. Salute to Mari, man. I know he's injured though, man. He sprained his pinky toe. He sprained his pinky toe, man.
Toe injury, man. Little
pinky
foot fracture.
Toe, man. So he'll be back.
Gonna be out next week, but I mean this upcoming week. But he'll be back afterwards. I see somebody asking about the undefeated. See somebody asking about the undefeated teams so far. It's only 2 teams that's undefeated, and that's the Aviators and the Hogs. They're both 5-0. And yeah, man, Gino Gannon also, I mean, I understand it's early, but I mean, really the early front runner for MVP. Dude has a total of 20 touchdowns in 5 weeks, 16 passing and 4 rushing. I mean, he's definitely in front of the league, leading the league in passing touchdowns. He has thrown 4 interceptions, but he's got his team sitting at 3-2 in a very competitive ARC East division with the Bulldogs, Celtic Tigers, and the Bulls, who they just beat. So I mean,
if he wins the Reload Bowl, bro, I'm gonna be. If he wins the Reload Bowl, bro, in his first, like, bro,
that's like Saquon Barkley and the Giants.
Yo, if he wins a Reload Bowl,
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
be very upset, bro. Like if this happens, and I'm never gonna let you live this down.
Oh man.
Never, bro. Like this is nuts, man. Like no, seriously, man. I've been thinking like, yo, this guy's gonna win a reload bowl, and I'm gonna
He
like,
could, man. It's crazy. It's still a long ways to go. A
it's,
lot to
it's
still
crazy.
have
It's
happen,
nuts, man.
but man,
Yeah.
that is wild. I mean, they even battled it out with the Bulldogs. It was 17-17 till they separated and scored 17 more points. So I mean, that tells you a little bit that they can compete really with anybody. So
Yeah.
it's all about how long can he keep up this consistency. Moving on to the next game, and this is your game here. A tough start to the season, man. I'm gonna let you go more into your season. I know, I talked a
0-5.
little
Let's
bit
go.
about it. Yeah,
0-5.
yeah,
Ain't nothing to
man.
talk
All
about, man.
five. Not the
Let's
start
allow some airtime.
that nobody was expecting, and the Bisons came into this game. This was a battle of two winless teams. Who's gonna get their first win? Most expected it would be the Cougars, and it just didn't happen, man. The Bisons come out of here victorious.
Yeah.
Torres and those guys get their first
we got
win,
Mac
14-9.
pissing all over us. Oh man,
Oh, man.
Mac started peeing on us, man. After the win, man, he started put all the Bison. All I saw was Bison this, Bison that, all in the chat, man. Mac going crazy. Baylor Brotherhood, #Baylor Brotherhood. Let's get together and make it as worse as possible in the loser bowl. I heard somebody else call, man. Look who it is. It's Mac and Roby, because there's nobody else. Honcho not catching passes. Shadoi not catching passes. KH not catching passes. Hodge can't get in, can't get nowhere. We got all these guys and we can't do nothing, man. These Bison just came and rolled all over us, man. And then Mac, he came over and peed on me. Peed right on my Timbs, man. You know what I'm saying?
Then wetted up the Yetas. That's crazy.
So this is just a sad day, man. Sad day. 0-5, man. First time in my history I've ever been lost. I think this is my worst start, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
because even
crazy.
in the bad season y'all had last year, you had some wins sprinkled in.
Yeah, it was like I did whatever 500, whatever it was, man. Bro, this is sad. It's sad, bro. I just look. Hats off to the defense, man. I know guys are upset. I know CP was upset, man, with the ball he gave up. But look, man, you can't do it all game long, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not impossible, bro.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's Sam Ham Gusto, and I mean the defense has been playing phenomenal, bro. The offense, man, we couldn't light a fart up, man. You know what I'm saying? What in the world? We can't do nothing on offense, bro. And I'm sorry, guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, man. I'm trying my best to figure it all out, bro. But you guys are balling, man. You know what I'm saying, on defense, and hopefully when the let me stop here. Hopefully we can get my guy McCall together, bro. You know what I'm saying? If we can figure it out, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find that needle in a haystack of a playbook and scheme for him, so we can have somewhat of a season, man, because I do I respect my locker room guys, man. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not the easiest guy to, talk to at times and deal with and everything. That's just me. But I respect them. I want them to be happy, man. You know what I'm saying? But geez.
Yeah.
This is boy, 0-5 is crazy. I don't even know what to do, bro.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is just keep trying, man. Put your best foot forward, see
Yeah.
what happens. That's it, man.
Yeah. Hope y'all like the unis though, man. I don't know about JJ trying to call us the soda boys, soda pop Popinskis, whatever he was calling them, soda bars, cream sodas. These are Cougar furs, man. You know what I'm saying? So we look sweet in that loss. We got some other unis y'all ain't seen yet though, man. We got to start winning before we even put those out there. So. Yeah.
But Bison's getting their first win, 1-4, and I already talked about the Cougars, man. 0-5. Two teams left that have yet to get a win. I don't know if we're gonna have a winless team because it's between y'all and the Marshals. I feel like y'all gonna get a win at some point. But moving on,
Pecan already told us we'll be number one. We'll get the number one pick.
Moving on though, the Sentinels are hot, man. They are 4-1. They are on a 4-game winning streak, and they took down the Steamers in Memphis. Now, the game was not anywhere as clear and sunny as this graphic, because I didn't get the photos, because Coach Forbes had recorded the game, and he took the photos, but for whatever reason, they weren't uploading. We're going to try to see if we get those photos tomorrow. I know Flame's been asking, but I had to use something just for this graphic. The Sentinels, though, man, 24-10 over Memphis and Reed Wagner. I mean, he really struggled within that game. Couldn't get the offense going. They barely used Amir. Really kind of in a sense shooting themselves in the foot. But what's your thoughts right now on Coach Tour and the
Yeah.
Sentinels? Really just
Yeah.
turning things around, at least at the start of this season, sitting where they are.
Yeah. Well, you just got to call it how it is. They found a system that's working for them here. That this probably could be the OC Nick that they've got. You know, uh, obviously Tor. I've talked to Tor a couple of times. I know he's just done a lot of research with his team, and he's got some. He's actually got some old school methods, man. And I'm not going to reveal it, but he's got some old school methods that's working for him now. And I kind of have gotten away from that, man. I remember when I first started, I used to do that, man. But with time and work and everything, getting older and stuff, man, things change. But he's got something going on, man. And you can't, you have to give credit where it's due, bro. Because I know for a while we gave Tour a lot of flack with this team.
Mm-hmm.
DWJ was DJ. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Back in the day, like that was like the DJ of today. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So, and we were like, man, what's going on? And he's finally, man, he's putting some success together here. So this is a very dangerous team. I know for a fact that they are working hard behind the scenes as a unit, as a team, man. So a big salute to the Sentinels, man. I got to give them the respect here. They beat a good Steamers team, bro. You don't just run over the Steamers at home, man.
Yeah.
So don't get comfortable, guys. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I got to give them the love, man. Salute.
Yeah, and as mentioned from JJ, not a single offensive touchdown given up in this game. So, I mean, that's just saying a lot. Their defense has been actually doing pretty good. Still shout out to Nick, that's the offensive coordinator. He even has been disgruntled at times, talking about he feels the offense could put up more points. They just haven't. And, the 24 points is still going to help you win ball games. I mean, they're doing enough, So, I mean, doing a good job there, maintaining. The defense, though, has definitely performed better than expected.
I'm going to say this, too, though, man. I know it's nostalgic and everything. But I see JJ saying no touchdowns given up. But I remember we used to play y'all, and I used to love not giving up any touchdowns to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to be like they used to not get touchdowns. They would get all the way down the field and not get touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that he's saying that. It's kind of nostalgic here of how how far this team has actually come, man. So again, salute to these guys, man.
Moving on to the other premier game, we know that the Explorers are severely handicapped, and the start to this season is not what was expected. They have two of their best players on each side of the ball missing. That's not two separate, but one on each side missing. And of course, Daryl Johnson's not the quarterback. They have Everett Bradley, who's been filling in. He has not been able to buy the Explorers a win. Almost was able to get it done here. And he honestly didn't play all too bad. Statistically, threw a touchdown, no turnovers or anything. I don't think he's turned over the ball since he's taken over for the offense, but he just has not been able to lead this offense to points. And shout out to Jordan Granger. He's got the Lumberjacks leading the division currently. That's with the Explorers, the Barons, and Gunners within that division. And they're doing their thing, man. 20-19 was the final score. Thoughts on this game? I mean, it's not really too much to say about the Explorers, right now. We know they had that loss against DJ and
there's
the
a lot
loss
to say about
DeMarco
this,
Landau. But yeah, you can go ahead into it.
There's a lot to say about this, man. First of all, I got to ask you, because you got to jog my memory, bro. Everett Bradley, did he get them to a championship game or something?
I don't think he got them to any championship game. He had to fill in before, and Bill hated every minute of it just about because, I mean, before in his earlier years, Bill really had interest in him and was like, hey, I think this guy might be something. So he took his time developing him a little bit.
Did he progress this guy?
I can't remember if he did or not. I know he was helping him get along and used him and felt confident in him as being a guy. And then when he had that interception game against the Barons where he broke a record with 7, that was when
then Bill got rid of him.
He kept him. He never got rid of him, but he doesn't like playing this guy. But it's mainly because of that.
I don't like the history part. It's comical, not because he's lost. I feel for him. Like, did y'all see how he kept them in this game. Like, and the way the passes that he was making and stuff, like, this guy is like Bill's like toy soldier, right? And it's like it's a toy soldier that he put away, you know what I'm saying? But that he only has to bring out. And so when you see him in a system, like what's so cold is that like he actually fits their system. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't doing anything outlandish. He actually looked kind of like DJ at times as far as the throws and everything, and consistently making plays. He's standing in the pocket and everything. He's comfortable. But I would just kind of chuckle to myself, like, this is the guy that he got rid of, right? That he did not want to be on the field whatsoever. And he's forced to have this guy. It's kind of like deja vu. He's being haunted right now, man. And he's got 2 more weeks until DJ comes back.
I think DJ comes back this week, actually, against the Bulldogs. So.
I thought I saw 2. I thought I saw. Well, on the stream it said 2 weeks he was injured. He was out.
Yeah, and that stream was I believe 2 weeks ago. So yeah, he would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think he's coming back against the Bulldogs this
week. Wait. How was this stream 2 weeks ago? No,
Remember the last stream we couldn't do the podcast last week, so it was 2 streams ago. So that's 2 weeks. So when that was shown,
but this is the week 5 game.
Yeah, let me check. I'm sure he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he should be back this week. Injury report.
Yeah, I thought I
maybe bugging, but I'm pretty
sure.
The
stream said he was out 2 more weeks, man, but I could be wrong. That's fine. Yeah, but yeah, I know he's got to be pulling whatever hair out.
Never mind. He comes back next week. He's
next
going.
Week.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah. Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Would have loved to have him back this game, but nope.
Oh yeah. But no. Once he comes back, I think it's back to business.
Yeah.
Without there's 3 missing. It's him, Lando, and there's 1 more.
That's the only
missing.
2 that's going. He did have another guy that was an offensive lineman. I don't remember if he came back for this game or not, though. Miles Boggs was his name.
Yeah, Miles Boggs. Yeah. So, but it's kind of crazy, man. Even with those guys gone, these guys are still, moving like a Tagway going crazy. So, it's just a matter of time. They'll be back. Big salute to the Lumberjacks, though, man. Granger, obviously. So yeah.
Yep. He said Boggs will be back Friday. Yeah. So I think it was Boggs. All right.
Boggs. Okay. Good.
It's more like
Clifton went out in that game. I saw him go down, but he came back.
What's going on, Finish Swag? Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to try to do this, and I'm full-time student. So I mean, to make these graphics and try to make it like ESPN. It's the best we could do for right now. I mean, if you look at older streams, like back in the day, I mean, when I had time, when I wasn't in school, I used to make highlight tapes for every game and stuff, and we just go through that. So, I mean, just don't have the time like I used to anymore.
No, or the resources. I mean, come on, man. You know how many people are working on a Sports Center set?
Yeah. I was trying my best to make it like that, but when you don't got that time anymore, it's a difference.
Yeah.
But
if you don't notice, they got these earplugs. Earphones, and people are feeding them information on what to say.
Yeah.
You didn't know that, and there's probably teleprompters everywhere showing them everything. Like, I mean, if we had that.
Yeah. But yeah, Lumberjacks getting that victory, man. 3-2. Explorers still with just 1 win on the season, 1-4. Then we had the Miners and the Huskies, and a little bit we could talk about this trade.
Hold on. Talk about, man. Mm-hmm. Who took these photos, man?
Oh, Dunn did. Yeah, Dunn took these photos, man. I had to work with whatever he had, man. And
what is going on here,
you see that grass. When you see that grass, man.
Boy, took this in one of them drones from Walmart.
He took this photo from a fan that was in the end zone seat.
This is crazy, man.
Yeah, so Calvin Poole bounces back. The Huskies get the win, and it's a solid win over the Miners. It was a really good game, very close, competitive. They came back. It was like 21-14 for a little while, and then Miners were able to get that score, but then the Huskies just able to maintain, kick the field goal, win the game, 24-21. The Miners, man, falling to 1-4. He already had his podcast earlier today, talking about, his struggles and how, it's tough, when you get on those losing streaks and it just destroys your team's morale and what they can do and what they can perform. And you know, he fought hard in this game, just came up short. Very similar, just
It's just the
again,
matchups, man.
yeah, just the matchup, man. Very similar to even your situation. You know, being 0-5, you look at most of those games, it could have been the other way. And those are what makes the difference between the morale and how your season kind of moves forward. You know, of course that can change, but very difficult for that to change, man. And what's your thoughts on the Miners? You know, their decision. They traded away Buck Aldrich. They're getting their young guys involved. They got Trent Williams from the Voyagers, picked up a first round draft pick. And Dunn's already saying like, hey man, at this point, I can't assume that we're going to make the playoffs. Let's just make some moves now, try to get ready for the future, and start playing some of these young dudes.
Yeah, you know, I was surprised he actually said that. I asked the question because someone asked me when we lost. Someone said, "Hey, Mix, is it over for you guys? Is the season over, man? Are you looking to the draft?" And you guys know I'm a competitor, man. I want to win, bro. So you know, I'm like, nah, we still gonna make it hard on people, but I understand where Dunn is coming from. It's difficult, bro. Like, you know, like I've got so many down red arrows on my team right now. Guys have already dipped to 45s. It's gonna be 40s if we lose, in 30s if we lose any more games, and it's getting crazy, man. So you just kind of start to see the team deteriorate. So I know where he's at right now. You know, 1-4, and he's like, hey, let me go ahead and get a move made while this guy is hot still, you know. So it was pretty smart. That was a smart move, man. I wish I could make a move like that, but I don't have anybody to make a move for. I need all my players, man. So I'm kind of stingy in that regard. I don't like to get rid of guys, man. So um, yeah, man. I empathize with the Miners, but it's just what I just feel like the Huskies are a really good team, and for them to put up 21, you know, against this team, considering where they are right now, and for this not to have been even worse, it still says a lot about you know, who the Miners are and who's scheming over there. So, big salute to the Miners, man. It is what it is, guys. Go for it. But you know, again, just do what you think is necessary.
Yeah, and as we talked about, you know, with divisions and standings and how they are, I'm looking at the division right now on my screen, and you know, when you talk about the Explorers, they still got a shot because you got the Gunners, you got the Barons, and those two teams are 1-4 just like you are, and you have a two games that you're behind against the Lumberjacks, who, if you're at full strength, you probably beat. You lost to them already without DJ and Landau, and with those guys back, most likely by the time you play again, you got a shot to beat them and everyone else in the division, which is going to catapult you to possibly take the division and make the playoffs regardless. The Explorers have never missed the playoffs in franchise history. They're the only team left to have never done so. That is possible. But when you look at Dunn's situation, the Aviators sitting at 5-0, you're down 4 games. In second place, you got the Red Dragons, who you beat. You beat the Red Dragon at 2-3. I'm not going to say it's over. And I mean, this early, you can never say it's over for any team, even if you lost every game, like you know you and the Marshals have. You just never know. But it does make it a lot more difficult when you see other teams in your division having success. And it's not really too many teams other than the Miners, though, in this division. I mean, can I see the Miners sweeping the Bisons? Yes. Can I see the Miners sweeping the Red Dragons? It's a possibility. They already beat them already. So, I mean, if you add those wins, those are crucial division wins. You got to beat the Aviators, though. They're looking good right now. But who's to say by the time that they play them, they're looking the same. On paper, they're not the better team. So anything can happen for the Miners, to be honest. But he's looking at it from a lens of, I got to make some moves now before a trade deadline even comes. Let me make these moves. And they really haven't lost too much. They did get some good players in return and some good pieces in return. So at the end of the day, understand the move and understand, you know, the logic behind that. And for the last premier game, we had the Diablos versus the Desperados. You can see from this photo, you know, I didn't take these, but this was Forbes this time. Grass in the back, you know, it wasn't us. But 33-13 was the final score. Marquise Washington and the Desperados losing 2 games after starting out 3-0 and looking like, oh, they might be something. This could be the Hogs and the Aviators down the line soon, you know? You never know. But the Diablos are the only team in the NRC with the best record right now that has only lost 1 game at sitting at 4-1. And as for the Desperados, they fall to 3-2. But honestly, this is very reminiscent to how the Desperados have been. They always have great seasons, and then when they play really good teams, solid teams like the Diablos, they get done like this. And that's even with Marquise Washington. So what's
Whatever,
your
man.
thoughts
You
on the
didn't
game?
try hard enough, man. You
Exactly.
didn't try hard enough to beat Forbes, man. Come on, man. You lost 33-13, and it's because you didn't try hard enough, man. Get
Hey
out of here
man,
with that.
sometimes you
This
got it,
team,
sometimes you don't.
this
That's
team
right.
is belt switch, man. You know, like I don't know. No, it's hats off to Forbes though, bro. You dropped him off. What was he? We don't have the stats for this though. I'd like to
Marquise
see what
Washington
were the numbers
struggled to
for it.
pass the ball. And it makes sense. I mean, the Diablos defense is like that. You can't really run the ball against the defense like that. Even with Tavion Hall, you don't have the line really to do it. And even back then, it was hard to stop. Tavion Hall mainly struggled to run against this team. And, I mean, they just have their number, you know, and they had it in that
Forbes seems
game.
to have it figured out, man. Yeah. Oh, do you have any numbers on Kearney at all?
Lane Kearney, if we jump into this game specifically, I think he had a pretty solid day. Let me go ahead, dive into this. Just pull these up. Desperados. So Lane Kearney within his game, honestly, he had a very light day. He threw 27 passes, was completed 18 of them, 66%. So that's pretty average. You know, was sacked 6 times, threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But peep this, only had 162 passing yards. So I mean, this guy really just was effective when he had the pass. Marquise Washington, what killed him was 3 interceptions. He only had 1 before this game. I think that's really what put the Desperados away. I mean, obviously it was, but the guy who really put this game away, it was Madison Axel. Madison Axel had 24 carries for 127 yards. Didn't score a
127.
touchdown, but the guy was just a beast. And as I talked about with Tavion Hall struggling against the defense here, only 2.2 yards a carry, 10 carries for 22 yards.
I always elevate Hall over Axel, man. I've always done that. And every time they meet, Hall just decides he doesn't want to run, and then Axel just goes crazy, man. You know, it's kind of funny how that always works out, man. Interesting.
Yeah, those guys always seem to battle for who's going to lead the conference in rushing yards, and Axel's definitely on his A game this season. And the last game to go over, the Celtic Tigers putting up the most points in the RFL season, 50 points put up on the Bulldogs. But this game was not as bad as it seems. They lost by 21, but it was 29-29, straight back and forth. And then I don't know if old boy Lonely Face is still here, but he called them Timmy turnovers. And I was talking about that during that game. He had 2 crucial turnovers that really lost him this game. They had shots, and Timmy Merritt, despite the 4 touchdown passes, those 2 interceptions really put this game away for him. But the big story was Justin Jones, second all-time in passing yards in a single game with 570 yards and 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and still has yet to throw 1 interception this season. The kid is absolutely balling. Matt Nayani had his best game so far of the season with 224 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, would put him in top 5 in receiving yards on the season going into week 6. Thoughts on this game, man, and Justin Jones just finally emerging. Well, I wouldn't even say finally emerging. I mean, ever since he's taken over, he's done a good job. He's taken his team to the playoffs twice, but he has emerged within this game as one of the top quarterbacks, you know, moving forward. And that kind of was a statement made even since last season.
I don't know, man. Just so many different scenarios, man. It's like everything's just haywire in this league. Um, 50 on the reload champs. 570 yards. I mean that's the average of 2 quarterbacks or maybe even 3 quarterbacks that's been week to week, and he how does he get 570? How does he get 344? How does he get 5 touchdowns? How do they get 9 touchdowns when we're averaging 1 touchdown, 2 touchdown across the league? I just don't understand this. Why is it that Winkleman, and I'm hating now, and I'm fine. But why is it that Winkleman has 6 receptions, 133 yards?
He started out the game, the very
Tigers?
first play on offense, with a 71-yard bomb for a touchdown. And he was still eating. And the way it was, the receivers were just eating for
way better than
CT.
him. Can't get 3 receptions.
Depends on the matchups, 50 man. Yards. Depends on the matchup and how the quarterback performing, man. Timmy Merritt was locked in, and like I said, those interceptions really cost him. This game wasn't as bad as it seemed. It was literally 29-29. And honestly, it looked like the Bulldogs were going to run away with it.
This doesn't make sense to me either, though. Like, Worsley has 36 yards.
He hasn't been performing all too good.
Wheaton has 36 yards, right? So there's no run game whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But the pass game is obviously effective, right? So does that mean the defensive pass rush, right, was just non-existent in this game?
I don't think that was the case, because it was. I mean, we saw Drew Brewer get 3 sacks in this game. Pressure was present. The quarterbacks were just very efficient until the 2 interceptions happened for Timmy Merritt. If you saw Justin Jones throughout this game, this kid was hitting everything. And what elevated his game even more crazy was he was making every play he could, but his receivers were not letting up either. Like, I'm talking about, we saw Shamrocks on the first touchdown catch a simple drag and outrun the entire defense for a touchdown. He also had another touchdown where he caught him deep, and Justin Jones threw an absolute bomb on a wheel route from the slot when the quarterback was over top of him. But he placed the ball so good, knowing his receiver, that he knew he was going to outrun him, caught him in stride, and he scored, got a touchdown. Like, it was just like he was synced up better than I've ever seen any quarterback receiver this season play, and that was among multiple receivers, including Chandler back, his tight end, and Matt Niani.
Do you think I have like a QB hex on me or something, like I'm cursed?
Hey man, I don't know, man. It just seems
because look, I had Dre Crowell. I drafted Justin Jones over DWJ.
Mm-hmm.
Right? DWJ becomes who he is. Justin Jones takes a seat. I'm out of CT. I'm in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I've got Slater. Right? I've run Slater to the wheels fall off, right? You know what happens from there, right?
Yep,
I had Bastige.
Well, after was it Bastige? I thought it was Slater.
I was priming Bastige up, and then I found out I could get Gino. So I get Gino, right?
Remember that?
You know what I mean? And now I don't have DWJ. I don't have Justin Jones. I don't have Gino Gannon. I've got McCall. I just feel like my life has been I'm just messing around, man.
RFL hex on him.
Justin Jones. Yeah, Justin Jones, man. I always knew he was going to be a beast, bro. You know what I'm saying? When he was the offensive coordinator for the CT, and we were just, I was new to the league. I remember he was like nudging me, "Hey, take my player," and everything. You know what I mean? And I actually didn't want him playing for any other team because he was like, on CT, and I was like, "Yo, you're on CT, you can't play for somebody else." Kidding me? So that's why we drafted him. And boy, he has really come alive, taking the shoes obviously from Drake Crowell and putting them on here, man, and doing some big things here. So just gotta
I got a cutout going on. Come on, PC, bring it back. Wow, this is a long one.
Salute his character, man. This is another one of those. Now he's here.
I think they kind of heard it sped up, but pretty much he was like just saluting his character for how he's played, and now he's balling, right? Okay.
Yeah, he's balling, man.
Yeah. Jumped up to a 90 overall now too after that game. So I mean, guy's still young. I think he's 25. 90. He's CT has had a lot of luck at that quarterback position. That's all I can say. And with that being said, that is the recaps of all the games that happened this week. And with that being said, I think we're about to hop into the games that are coming up. But before we do that, let me see. We could talk about some player signs. Like I said, I don't have any graphics. I'll put this background up real fast just so something could be there. But I don't have any graphics for this. But we talked about the trade, the Voyagers and the Miners trading, and Buck Ulbrich going to the Voyagers from the Miners, and the Miners trade away Trent Williams, a 25-year-old wide receiver. So I mean, the Voyagers needed some help at the receiver position. I think they're on the teams right now. If I go to try to look at the rosters real fast, I'm trying to get in the file and show you guys so that way that this isn't like, I don't reveal anything because there has been some premier games played this week. But okay, now I'm about to switch over to this real fast. I have to switch this on and off at times. But yeah, you can see right here, Buck Ulbrich now on the Voyagers. He is their best receiver now. And we know what he's capable of doing long term, a long time, was a conquistador when the Miners were a conquistador, was a Miner. So he's been with his team all the way up until now. 30 years old, 85 overall. He's that go get it kind of guy. Speed for his size is really good. I mean, 6'6", 232 and still at least 91 speed with 94 excel. I mean, that's big time, but you can still see the morale drops coming from a team that's been, not having the best of success and going to a team having a little bit better, but still not doing as well. But this definitely helps out the offense. And you also look at the quarterback. I like what we see from Monte Wyatt. Tough loss. He's got a morale dip going on right now too. But I think that addition really helps them out. It definitely helps them out to be able to have those tough grabs that need to be made get made. And that's like the biggest thing to go into. What I'll do is you could talk about that, and I'll also pull up a couple of re-signs that I'll post about on social media the coming days.
No, I just quickly. This is obviously an aggressive move by. Oh, I know it's frozen me, so I'm gonna wait for it to. Okay, so this is obviously an aggressive move by Baker. He doesn't really make these kinds of moves, so this tells me that he still thinks that he can turn his season around. So will be interesting to see what he's able to do with a guy like Buck Ulbrich. I'm so I guess in a sense I have to say that Dunn is kind of waving the white flag as well. I know he said that earlier, but I kind of felt anyway when he traded away Buck that now he's made it a lot more difficult on Miles to complete passes, in my opinion. Something that we kind of forget is that when you have these big wide receivers, they tend to take players out of the game. And even though they may be taking themselves out of the game, it's actually opening up for the chance for other players to shine. So I think that when he decided to remove, this icon from the wide receiver core, he's essentially said that, hey, we'll just thug it out the rest of the season, and figure,
Much.
and whatever. I don't think that he was. I don't think that he really, yeah, I think that he said it beautifully, man. He said, "Hey, we're 1-4. I got to try to get something out of this before we get too cold." So yeah, so I think that the Voyagers are being aggressive, and I think Miners are kind of playing a more conservative role now. But yeah, taking, I mean, that's a legend that they just took out of Sacramento, man. They put him on Houston now, and so now, when you face the Voyagers, now you got to worry about Buck Ulbrich, and we know what Buck Ulbrich can do. So that's going to be interesting to see. I think that what's going to happen though, man, is either Buck is about to go crazy with Houston, or you're going to start to see the other players, around, now start to kind of step up as like Buck demands double teams and all that stuff, man. I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, we know they're a pass heavy offense as well. So good, I guess a good move for Houston, and they're trying to keep their season alive. And he got the lineman out of that situation.
And as we go through re-signs here, just going through, Devin Flores was signed to a 2-year, $11.2 million contract. So he's staying there with the Marshals. I talked about him, they were trying to get primarily used at the slot. Didn't work out. He's better outside. It gives Leo Moon, 2 outside receivers with Sean Acosta. So he's going to be staying there a couple more seasons. I'm only going to go through like key players here, guys. And then you got a re-signing of James Blackman. This is a huge piece for the Marshals, 4-year deal worth $74.8 million. And that's a premier edge rusher for these guys. They definitely needed to get him back, so it was a good thing they were able to get that deal done. Frankie has posted about this on Dreadnots social media pages. Dreadnots able to sign Trey Sinclair to a 3-year, $48 million deal. Trey Sinclair is an older receiver. I believe he's 30 or 31 years old. So he still feels he's going to have enough left in the tank to be able to be effective for this team in those 3 years to come. Looking at the Thunderbirds, they were able to sign back a young lineman in John Francis, their outside tackle, to a 4-year, $64.8 million deal. So that is key for them. That offensive line has been young, it's been developing, getting better, and they're looking to try to grow that. The Monarchs, not a key player really to mention. Here's a key player right here. I guess week 4 we have the Sentinels, and Coach Tor says, "Hey, let's bring Jay Morris back for another year. Sign him back 1 year, $5.6 million contract." Desperados able to lock in one of their young receivers, and on Henry Moss, the 5th, 3-year deal worth $25.8 million contract. And they also lock up their speed demon in Cecil Austin III for 3 years for $22.2 million contract. If you want to have more in-depth look at things like this too, to understand more about these players, you can go ahead and check out our Neon Sports. I'll show up real fast the graphic, and I'll pause this actually real fast so you guys can see. You scan that code right there in the middle. I know I got the RFL Live podcast thing in a way, but you can still scan that. You'll be able to ask for requests to the RFL Neon Sports page to be able to get access to all the stats, all the players, the teams, everything you need to know about the RFL, accessible right there to the RFL Neon Sports. But yeah, we'll go ahead and turn this back off, get you guys right back. Got a good Ray Lewis signing right here. About the Tigers signing back a key defensive tackle, and Dominic Moore, young guy. He was part of the RFL's first college series, played for Ole Miss, 4 years, $114 million contract for him. So big signing there. Jocko Goliath, their beast stud linebacker, coming back as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he played for Ole Miss as well. 5 years, $58 million, having their key stud back. Leonidas gets signed back for the Huskies for 3 years for $25.8 million. That is a huge signing for them. So I mean, he's a beast of a running back. He's still staying here in Toronto for some years. Isaiah Streets gets signed back to a 5-year, $93 million deal with the Huskies. So you're going to see a lot of him and Calvin Poole moving forward for some years to come. Saquon Lattimore, we knew this signing was going to come up at some point soon. They made the trade to get him from the Black Knights, and they signed him to a 4-year, $34.8 million contract. So, I mean, big signing right there for the Huskies. Huskies definitely look like they're going to be competing still for some years to come with these additions. Devin Dean's getting signed back with the Crusaders here, as you can see, 3 years, $15.3 million. Ray Franklin gets signed back 5 years, $112 million to the Condors, staying with his squad. And no big signings really here to mention. This is a good signing for the Celtic Tigers. You got Joseph McCrary, cornerback, getting signed back 3 years, $27 million. Reggie Streeter, and this was actually posted up, so I guess I just caught you guys up. But yeah, Reggie Streeter got signed back to the Bulldogs. Shaquille Tiller got signed. We had a segment on this too, I believe. So I'm not going to go through this. Drew Brewer's back for 3 years. You could find that information on social media and, of course, in the RFL Neon Sports. But anything you want to say on any of those signings? Any key signings you liked, or you're good with what you saw right there? You there, Rob? I think he froze. At least my PC did. I think he might have froze. All right, yeah, something happened with Rob, because it looks like everything else here is moving. You there, Rob? Yeah, something happened. I think maybe something died or closed. My bad for putting that up. Background. We'll put that there. Yeah, Kai talking about Jocko coming back, and you can say, yeah, something happened where it kicked off his cam. I'll put it on solo for now until he is able to return. So yeah. Oh, solo cam all the way down here. What's going on? There we go. Yeah, let's just spread this a little bit. We'll rock out with the solo cam until Rob hops back in. You'll see if that does happen. But yeah, we did the signings. And I guess the next thing we're going to be going into is the season and the week that's coming up and the predictions behind that. Trying to still see what happened all with Rob there on that. Probably had to shut down his computer or something. But yeah, I guess what we could go into, I'll try to pull up Neon Sports. Well, actually, my computer has been kind of bugging a little bit, so I will show you guys the schedule and then dive into that, and then I'll talk about what the spreads are. So let's go ahead and boom, show you guys the schedule that we have coming up this week. 2 less games, so that's 4 teams that are going to be in a bye week. The first week of bye weeks happening this week. But of course, I'll read these out. Monday, we got the Thunderbirds and Miners, so that's the first game of the week. That is huge for both of those teams to try to get a win. The Oh, there he goes. Rob is back. Can you hear me?
Hey, can you hear me, Smitty?
Yeah, I can hear you. What happened, man? The thing just shut off?
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, just shut off, man. I'm trying to get restored now, man. It's crazy.
Okay. All good, all
Yeah,
good.
it finally came back. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Little shut off. I
Yeah.
knew something had to happen, man. At first, I thought it was something on my end.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. And when you paused and
crazy.
everything else was moving, I was like, oh, yeah, something must have happened there. But
Yeah, I think there's something going on with the internet. Yeah, there's something going on. So okay, I'm not gonna interrupt you anymore. I'm trying to get together. Okay, so
okay. So this is the schedule for this week. Thunderbirds, Miners, first game, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Rob getting that one. Anything can happen with these Tuesday games, man. I try to get Bill whenever he can to try to call a game. I still have to try to get with Dunn, because he did say he could try to work on some Tuesdays for calling some games. I know he hasn't called a game yet, but he has been willing, and I just really haven't had the time to really VC him to see if he could get on. But he's a good commentator as well. I've commentated, did duel with him before, and it turned out pretty nice. Trying to get to see if he could do a solo, just really with himself, until we just expand on that staff, on that area of the staff. But then we got the Black Knights and Red Dragons. So all 3 of these games right here that you see that I've called, that's going to be all live on Monday and Tuesday for guys who already know about the schedule. Premier games, got the Shamrocks, Snowhawks, Desperados, Bisons, Hogs, Huskies, Barons, Diablos, Steamers, Marshals, Celtic Tigers, Bulls, Elks, Monarchs, Lumberjacks, Tigers, Condors, Crusaders, and Dreadnots, Cougars. I mean, these are a lot of great games that we got coming up, guys, that you want to make sure you tune into. In the game of the week, I thought we were getting DJ back, but after looking, he comes back after this game. But that should be a fire game to watch, man. Explorers and Bulldogs, the 2 last champions going head to head. With that being said, Like I said, I will get into that later. Let me read off what the top 10 power rankings are, though, for from Neon Sports. So based off of how the season is going so far, your number one team from Neon Sports in the league is the Aviators. No shock there, 5-0. But I tell you what is a shock. Remember when I first talked about the Neon Sports power rankings, I thought it just went off a record first. Well, come to find out after this top 10 ranking, that is not the case. They apparently use other factors. The Diablos are ranked number 2 despite having a loss at 4-1, and it's the Hogs that come in at number 3 at 5-0. So this is a true power ranking in the sense of a system not just off of standings for the Neon Sports, but I guess it holds a majority of the weight. At number 4 in the RFL is the Armadillos at 4-1. 5 is the Sentinels at 4-1. Black Knights sitting at 4-1. Are at 6. Bulls at 7 at 4-1. Celtic Tigers have jumped up to 8 after their victory. They are 3-2. Desperados still in the top 10 at 3-2, and the Dreadnots just holding on despite the tough loss to the Pioneers this past week at 3-2. And on the outside, right there, just looking at 11 are the Bulldogs after their tough loss, giving up 50 points. So that's the top 10. Unfortunately, didn't have any graphic or anything to show you guys that. And I guess we'll dive into these games and the predictions. But before then, Rob, you good still, or? I think he's still working things out there. So what I'll do is you guys can see the schedule. I'll go to the schedule in Neon Sports. From my end, you guys won't be able to see what I'm looking at unless you pull up Neon Sports yourselves. But yeah, looking at these games this week. Let's start out with the Thunderbirds and the Miners. So what I have in this matchup, I have the Thunderbirds winning by 4 or more points. With everything that's been going on with the Miners, of course, dropping down, they played some really good games still, but dropping to 1-4, there's been struggles for the Thunderbirds as well. Don't get me wrong. Sitting on a 500 at 2-3, but I just feel like the defense of the Thunderbirds might be enough in their offense, especially after the trade of the Miners, is sitting more in a favorable situation. So I'm siding with the road team in Atlanta, getting it done there. At the second game with the Armadillos and the Pioneers, Roland's been rolling. I think he will continue to, despite the Pioneers winning their last 2 games. I don't think they get it done here at home. I got the Armadillos in their highly explosive offense winning by more than a touchdown. So the spreads have them at 7.5 in favor of Austin. The Black Knights and the Red Dragons, man. We saw a bounce back from the Red Dragons this past week against the Condors. We saw an incredible comeback from Geno Gannon and the Black Knights. I think the Black Knights are just rolling too high right now, and there's still some question marks in that defense of the Red Dragons. So I'm taking the Black Knights to win by 5 or more points as the spread is set at 4.5. Shamrocks and Snowhawks. I've got the Snowhawks getting it done, bouncing back after the tough loss to the Elks. I think with the home field advantage, they still have good key pieces there. Gilly, I think, holds up just enough to edge it out. And I got the Hawks winning by 4 or more points. Going in the Desperados and the Bisons. Bisons may have just got their first win, but it was only against another team that did not have a win in the Cougars. And they got the home field advantage, but I feel like after a 2-game losing streak, after starting 3-0 and a great quarterback in Marquise Washington and a great running back in Tavion Hall, I don't see the Bisons keeping that streak going despite, feeling that and having the home field advantage. I've got the Desperados winning by a touchdown. 6.5 is where the spreads sit. Hogs and Huskies. Is this where the Hogs' undefeated streak ends for Ronnie Football and the guys? I think the Hogs are favored to win this, despite the Huskies having an advantage. This is one of the smaller, I think this is the smallest spread, point spread. I got the Hogs by 2 points. So 1.5 point spread, getting it done on the road. Barons and Diablos. It's been getting really bad for the Barons, and this is the biggest spread of the week. I'm going with the Diablos by 10 or more points with a 9.5 spread at home in Mexico City. Then we have the Steamers and the Marshals. Steamers struggling. Marshals even worse are struggling. Got the home field advantage. Looked pretty good last week. Will they bounce back this week? I don't think so. I think they lose by 6 or more points to the Steamers as they get on track. A really great game here and a new ARC East rivalry game. We have the Celtic Tigers and the Bulls going at it. Bulls just lost their first game of the season after starting out 4-0. We just saw the Celtic Tigers put up 50 points on the Bulldogs. And I am actually going to go with CT as the favorites to win this game. After what we saw happen in that Bulldogs game, I think they have what it takes to beat the Bulls. And so I got that spread by a field goal or more at 2.5. Then we have the Elks and the Monarchs. The Monarchs are favored to win despite their big upset victory at home over the Snowhawks, 28-21 as we discussed. I still got the Monarchs coming out on top of this one by 4 or more points. Lumberjacks and Tigers. Lumberjacks have really been on a roll. They're 3-2. They're leading the division. But the Tigers, despite having one less win, sitting at 2-3, this team looked dangerous last week. I know it's the Barons and they're struggling, but we've seen Kai Cash, even in the games that they've lost, just put up numbers, move the offense, make plays through the air. And I think that he's going to be able to do that, especially against this Lumberjacks defense, who, still struggling in that secondary department. So after putting on a show like he did last week, I think he could do it again. I got the Tigers by 4 more points. Crusaders hosting the Condors. This NRC West division has been everything. It's just been absolutely competitive. Incredible game. Incredible games, always close within a possession. And I've got the Condors bouncing back, getting the victory over the Crusaders by a field goal or more with a spread at 2.5. Second to last game, the last premiere, is the Dreadnots and the Cougars. So 2 coaches going at it. Coach Roby still looking for his first win. Coach Frankie J looking to try to not fall to 500. And I have the Dreadnots just based off the morale and how it's just been going for the Cougars. Dreadnots, despite their loss to the Pioneers this past week, should be able to come out of this game victorious. I got them by 4 points. And the last game, the Explorers and Bulldogs. I had this spread closer because I thought DJ again was coming back. With him not being there, probably would have made this bigger, but the spread as it stands is at 2.5 in favor of the Bulldogs winning. Still with no Lando, no DJ. I think the Bulldogs, they cover that. So those are the spreads and my predictions for this week. With that being said, Rob, are you still here? Or I think we lost them, guys. So might be it for the night in terms of that. And we're just about done, to be honest. We went through that. We talked about the top 10 power rankings. Gave the predictions just now. I guess we could go into some key injuries. Let's go through the league and sweep through injuries on who's out, right? And then after that, we'll leave it to open questions, see what you guys got to say. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Schedule is in. All right, so let's start with A to Z. All right, so we have the Armadillos, 1 loss. They are without their wide receiver, Justin Blake, abdominal tear for 3 weeks. Not too bad of a loss. They got some good receivers, but I know they've been trying to get him developed up. And they will be without him 3 more weeks. Aviators, no injuries for the Aviators. For the Barons, they're 1 more week without Ryan Ward. And oh boy, I did not see this. Q-Pop. Oh shoot. Never mind. Probably shouldn't have did this. We're going to not do this because the games have been played this week for some teams. So guess we know the disappointment that's going to happen after this week. So I'm going to go ahead and end it and just go straight to open questions. I completely forgot about that. We saw nothing. All right, so I'll put the schedule back up, I guess. And if you guys got any questions for me, feel free to ask. Hopefully Q didn't see that. That's a heartbreaker, man. I didn't even notice that after that was recorded, that stuff. But yeah. No, RP. Man. Oh, internet issue. Okay. All good. We're at the end here anyway, so any questions, guys, feel free to ask. I'm just looking at my phone, checking to see. It could be anything RFL related. Feel free to ask me. Right now, I'm going to try to stay on for at least 4 more minutes till 10:20. And if we get a groove going, I'll stay all the way till 10:30 for an even 2 hours. So are the Louisville Lumberjacks an expansion team, or they the old Oklahoma City Lancers? Yeah, they are the Oklahoma City Lancers rebranded. Same roster and everything, just changed their look. Brought in the Lumberjacks. Has Timmy turnovers always been this bad? I mean, the guy won more reload bowls at quarterback than any other quarterback has. So, I mean, no. But I wouldn't say he's like bad. He's doing all right this season. The interceptions is up there. He is leading the league in picks. I think he's got 7. So yeah, in that department, he's kind of been known for that. He has been known to throw some picks, but he has been able to win some games too. So that sucks, but yeah, a lot of picks. Hey, Smitty, you running into progressive? You running with progressive fatigue on? Absolutely not, man. We had that turned off. Madden just does not know how to incorporate that properly. So we did not want guys on the field just gassing out unrealistically out of the games. I mean, we already have a ton of injuries that's just going on this season to begin with. So if that was included on top of that, you got teams that would play nowhere near up to their standard by the time we got to like week 12. So I did not want that to be anything to impact the season that bad at that stage. So the sliders still the same? Yes, they are. They are still the same. I do still need to make a video for that. I will get to that eventually, guys. But the reason I haven't too at the same time too is because there has been some ideas of tweaks. But right now, you know, I did put up that maybe we might of thinking of trying to touch quarterback accuracy, but it was voted down. Nobody wanted to touch that area. And it's not like it's all bad. It was just to see about improvements to where we don't see as many batted down passes at the line of scrimmage, wide open streaks down the field, just getting underthrown, stuff like that. But yeah. Do you see the league continuing with abilities off? League been turned. I absolutely do. You know, the league before abilities was established was kind of like this. And, you know, it's been some years we've been spoiled with abilities. But I do see its effects being on. I know what you lose with having abilities off. You don't have the same kind of pass rush consistently from star players just because Madden is built for that to be that way. But, I mean, it's not bad. You still can get pass rush. It's just, you know, I don't know, man. It's still ratings based a little bit more. But, you know, we haven't seen Isaiah Ingram and top DNs really just go crazy like they used to in the past. And honestly, I mean, it's a good thing. Still seeing a lot of sacks in total. You know, so I definitely see that probably being a long-term thing where we just don't bring abilities back until Madden actually fixes it perfectly, kind of like how NCAA was. The way EA's college football game was with their abilities, that was actually pretty good. It didn't just always trigger or make someone crazy OP the whole time. It just randomly happened. And definitely you could see when, you know, certain plays, certain moments, and they were on, it just happened, you know. It says, can RFL user players retire their player, or does it depend on Madden to do that? Yes. So the only way you can retire your player is if your player is officially in free agency. If your player is needed to be signed back for that second contract to serve, though, for that team, you cannot retire that player. You have to just ride it out, man, because you know, a team cannot just lose out on a guy just because the guy's just like, I don't want the guy to be here, you know. So the only way that you have that happen, you hit free agency. And if you're like, hey, I want to end this player's career after that, then you can do that. But if you're still on a team, you cannot just flat out retire your guy. Said no ability's been fired. Yeah, I agree. Who sells the merch? Redbubble or Neon? Redbubble sells the merch. It's definitely outdated. I'll have to try to see about working on that whenever given the time. But yeah, Redbubble is where the merch is at. We don't have any merch with Neon. So I love the no abilities. I agree, man. It's definitely look good, man. Okay, that makes sense. Just curious on how that works. Yep. All right, so we have reached, I've answered every question so far. We have reached 10:20. Going once for questions. Going twice. And I'll leave right now 1 minute to see if we get anything else thrown. If not, we'll go ahead and end this podcast. You guys already know the schedule. That'll get posted up on social media. And I'll just have this here for now. Podcast thumbnail. Hashtag free Q. Oh, man. I think we are good. Yeah, no more questions. A minute has turned. So that's going to be it, man. I enjoy doing this podcast for you guys. Week 6 is on the way. Going to be some great games, man. I'm going to actually try to see about recording a premiere tonight just to try to get those knocked out. But look forward. Monday, first game of the week, Thunderbirds Miners. Till then, I'll see you guys next week on Saturday for the podcast. Peace.